Being an independent artist is really stressful, but I have figured out that there's actually a handful of things that independent artists do that add stress to your life. They make things more stressful. I came up with six. So let me know in the comments below if you're like, Becky, you're full of crap, or you don't understand, or you are so right. I'm going to make some changes. Let me know your feelings about it. Thanks for joining me. My name is Becky. This is the Empowered Indie Artists YouTube channel. We have a membership and a community. There's more information in the link below in the description. I hope you'll check it out. I also have an artist branding workbook for you just for being here with me today. It's full of a bunch of worksheets and deep dives into who you are so that you can create your own unique brand as an independent artist. Okay, let's get to it. So I actually came up with six things that artists do that stress themselves out. The first thing, this is so strange, but as a young person, I experienced this myself. But as a vocal coach and artist mentor for years, I've noticed that when we're young, like in our teens and early 20s, we have this sensation that time is running out, that we do not have enough time. And if we have not achieved success by a certain age, it's too late for us. And I can only attribute this to the fact that our brains are young and we have this different perspective. And as we get older, we can look back and go, wow, I have this totally different perspective now that I'm 30. I can see that I feel like I'm just getting started in life. Where when we're 18, we feel like, oh my gosh, I'm almost too old. It's such a weird. If you're a psychologist, will you please jump on the comment section and explain this phenomena? But anyway, I find it very strange. But if you are a young independent artist and you're, let's say, 18, 19, and you feel like I'm running out of time, let me just assure you the people who are telling you, oh, you have plenty of time, they're actually right. You aren't running out of time. It feels like it because we live in a culture that really celebrates youth and especially like shows like America's Got Talent, where they have like this 15-year-old who sings like amazing, and everyone's like, because she's only 15, she's special. But I'm here to tell you that I honestly, when I see these really young musicians, especially singers, because I know the vocal technique and I know singers so well, 9 times out of 10, when I'm watching one of these young singers that everyone's going nuts over, all I see is how horrible their technique is because they're imitating. They have not figured out who they are as a vocalist. They haven't come up with their own sound. They haven't settled into their own voice. They're still in that modeling phase. And as independent artists, as songwriters, as vocalists, as performers, you do not have enough life experience by the time you're 20 to really have come into your own. That's not to say you can't be really amazing and gifted and talented. For sure you can, but you will see that the artist you are at the age of 30 is very different from the artist you were at the age of 20. Allow that to happen. If you do get successful, by the time you're 21, great, celebrate it. But you'll probably still go through a morphing of some type so that by the time you're 31, you'll still feel like, wow, I'm a really different person. I'm a different writer. I'm a different singer. I'm a different performer. I view life differently. And then by the time you're 41, you're going to be really feeling different. You'll have wisdom. You'll have experience. You'll be comfortable in your own skin, where when we're 21, that's the last thing we're feeling. So allow yourself the freedom to grow and to age within the music industry. There are so many people that are making music financially successful that are over the age of 30. I promise you. I'm 52 and I know that probably sounds really old to you. It sounded old to me when I was 20 as well. But I feel like I finally got my legs under me by the time I was, about to hit 50. I was like, yeah, I'm finally where I want to be and doing what I want to do with music. Isn't that crazy? So it might take you some time to actually figure out what you want to do specifically, where your happy place is with music. There are so many different angles to the music industry. So, number one is really don't pressure yourself with these false deadlines with your age. You're fine. Just take your time, develop your talent, nurture your talent, share your talent, but be open to the fact that it's a process. It's going to take you some time. Number two thing that stresses independent artists out, and as a producer, it stresses me out too. So please stop doing this, is creating these false deadlines. One of the most common ones I see is announcing a release date while we're still working on the music. I see this all the time, and I literally will be like, oh my gosh, they are announcing the release date, which is 3 weeks from now, but we haven't even recorded the vocals yet. It puts pressure on me, and it's going to be putting pressure on everybody involved in your team. So let's say that we're hiring a guitarist. We also have a mastering engineer. We have all these other team players, and if you've already announced your release date and it's 3 weeks away, now you've put pressure on not only you, but me and the guitar player and the mastering engineer. You don't know what their lives are like or what their timelines are like. So please do not announce release dates until you have the mastered, finished copy in your hand, digital hand, and you have already submitted it to through your distributor to all of the platforms with that specific release date that you had in mind. So you submit it. Ideally, it's 4 weeks before the release date is when you would submit it to your distribution company. You really don't want it to be any sooner than 2 weeks because the distribution companies also have their own bottlenecks. So if you're releasing it and it's 2 weeks from tomorrow and you've put that as your release date, you'll probably get a message from your distribution company that says, whoa, you are cutting it close. And it's possible that by that release date, it won't be on all of the platforms. Apple Music sometimes is like really slow getting the song up, and it has nothing to do with the distribution company. They've sent it out, but Apple Music has to go through their process of getting it on their store. Same with Spotify. Spotify is usually really, really fast, but Amazon's really slow. Apple Music's really slow. So give yourself that little bit of a buffer. And also, along the same lines as creating these deadlines, a lot of us in our goal setting sessions, we will create these deadlines like, okay, I'm going to have the song done by this date and it's going to be released and I'm going to have the music video. You can create these deadlines and timelines for yourself, which is very, very valuable, but allow yourself the flexibility to make some adjustments. Life happens. And if you have a major life occurrence right in the middle of your timeline that's going to put you back a few weeks, just pause and say, okay, you know what? I got to shift everything 3 weeks. No big deal. And you can even explain this to your fan base. You don't have to just go dark on us and be like, I can't release my song like I thought I was going to. So I'm going to just put myself in this quiet little hole and not talk to anybody. Just share with us, you know what? I had this, traumatic thing happen. My mom died, or whatever it is that happened to you that caused pause. Just explain it to us. You're going to have support from your fan base. They're going to support you. And think of something else that perhaps you can release that doesn't require all of the effort of a full production or a music video or something. Like just do a live Facebook Live or Instagram Live where you're playing requested songs. This will engage your fan base and make them love you even more. Number three, perfectionism. Perfectionism is obviously something we're all going to be dealing with as we're creating our music, writing our songs, posting, doing all of our release schedule stuff. If you are nitpicking every single little detail, this is going to add stress into your life. Now, I'm a big fan of doing things carefully, making sure everything is professional and absolutely the best that you can do. But there is that fine line between professionalism and doing your best work and just coming down so hard on yourself with perfectionism. If you need to step out and say, okay, I cannot make this decision myself, all I hear or all I see are my imperfections, get a teammate, get somebody, a best friend that can make some decisions for you so that you're not stuck, so that you can move forward. But don't allow the perfectionism to stress you out. Number 4, social media. Social media can stress us out. For one, it becomes a place of comparison. If you are kind of watching other independent artists or singers that you know that you can't help but feel kind of this sense of competition with, and you see them doing things that you're like, I feel like I'm being left in the dust. It's kind of that urgency, that rushing feeling, like I mentioned in number 1. Comparing yourself with other artists via social media is really going to put undue pressure on yourself. Social media can stress you out. First of all, it can be a time sink. If you are on social media without an actual game plan, an hour can go by, 2 hours can go by, and you're like, oh, wow, I just wasted the 2 hours I could have spent cleaning my house or practicing my guitar or whatever it is. I just basically wasted that 2 hours. Plus, social media is the fuel behind our perfectionism and our comparison epidemics. For social media, I always recommend having a set plan before you even launch it. I have my social media notifications turned off. So basically, I don't see that someone has commented or messaged unless I launch the app. Then I see all the notifications. But that just keeps my phone from being pinged all day long, and I just have my set times that I go in and check messages and reply to comments and create that schedule based on you and your life. It might be it's only 30 minutes at the end of the day, once a day, or it might be 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes at night, whatever works for your life. But if you create this discipline around social media, that is going to help alleviate a lot of stress in your life, from the comparison monster, from the perfectionist monster, from the urgency and rushing monster. Just keep social media in your control rather than letting it control you. And that will definitely help out with the stress. Number 5 thing stressing you out, failing to see progress that you've made. It's really easy to just see, kind of get this tunnel vision and see where you're heading and not looking back and going, oh, wow, actually, a year ago, I had no idea who I was as an artist. Now I have my brand figured out. I have my website up. I have a single released. It's really easy to forget how you've progressed over time. And so if you're not enjoying that and you're not appreciating that in yourself, then you're going to be stressing yourself out because you're only seeing all that you need to accomplish ahead of you. And number 6, the very last thing is you're not enjoying the journey of being an independent artist. And you're like, what? You're supposed to enjoy this too? I just went to a conference and a keynote speaker mentioned he compared not appreciating or enjoying the journey to hiking. Now, I love to hike, and when you go out in nature and you're looking at the trail ahead of you and you're seeing how much further you have to go and you're seeing the slope and it's steep, it's easy to get focused on the difficult tasks ahead of you. But hiking is about really enjoying the journey and the process and all of the surroundings. So, my husband and I, we just went on this hike, and it was actually a pretty hard hike because it was um, mostly downhill on the way to the point and then all uphill on the way back. And we just took our time because our bodies are falling apart, our joints hurt, and we didn't want to stress ourselves out with, really pushing ourselves. So we literally took about twice as long as a normal, like the hike says it should take this long. We took about twice because we stopped a lot. We took lots of pictures. We just took in the scenery, and I'm so glad that we did. And I'm glad that we allotted enough time so that we could really enjoy the journey of the hike. And it's the same with you as an independent artist. If you aren't stopping and enjoying what's happening around you, band practice, the interactions with your bandmates and you're laughing and or the enjoyment of being in the studio. I was recording with one of my favorite artists yesterday, Emily Summerhays, and she was like, "Becky, I just love creating with you." And I mean, we were just working on, the vocals, the harmonies and stuff, which is honestly my favorite part. But it's like there's this electricity in the room when it all vibes perfectly. And when she said that, I was just like, "Oh, I love this. This is why I love doing what I do. It's just so much joy." And now that I'm older, 52, I find myself stopping and enjoying and just taking in those moments a lot more than I did when I was young. And so don't forget to enjoy all of the beauty that comes with creating music. It really is a hard road that you've chosen as an independent artist. It's a very difficult road. There is no discounting how difficult that is. But make sure that you're enjoying the process and how you're growing and you're noticing your progress. That is going to help take some of that stress off, even if it's just for a few moments a day. Make sure you're doing that. That's it. I hope that was helpful. Please grab your artist branding workbook. It's totally free and it's meant to help you figure out who you are and really get the vision for what you want as an independent artist. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.